Yeah, showing your humility and your humanity.
Yeah.
Because in it, I was talking with a couple of our friends about this, like over the last couple of weeks, who were like going through like a conflict. But I encouraged them on Friday because they like were able to resolve the conflict. Like it was beautiful. But something that I was hearing from the Lord to encourage them in is like, yo, guys, like this hasn't been a burden on us who have been like the mediators, because what we've been able to see through this is y'all expressing who you really are, you expressing your humanity and not bottling it up to where you think that's the right thing, but 10 years down the road, it's just going to result in a freaking blow up.
Yeah.
And in it, like there's something, I was sharing this with Raul too, because he was going through some stuff last year, was letting out emotion. I was like, bro, like it's beautiful seeing you express this. It's beautiful seeing you express these emotions, these imperfections, and all of this to obviously to tear down the image of perfection that we have in our minds for people, because we always think that other people are more perfect than we are. Like they're like, oh, Josue never makes mistakes. Oh man, this dude just has it all together. All this kind of stuff. But in it, being able to voluntarily share that makes you more brave, but it also makes them love you more, makes them open up to you more, which allows you to love them more. And most of the time, we don't think that's the case. Yeah. Whenever we're sharing what's going on in our life, we're like, I don't want to be selfish with sharing all this stuff. Oh, I don't want to be vulnerable because I'm getting too deep too quick. But like, no, like that's where like connections are made. Like that's where the Spirit really starts to move. And if we would get our pride out of the way and let our humanity actually show itself in healthy ways, through that we learn what are healthy ways to express this stuff and not just dump it on social media or not just dump it on this, but like talk about it with y'all too. Talk about it with
literally,
Thomas.
I'm reading a book right now with my pastor. Let me look. Is this camera right here? I don't like reading books. I don't enjoy reading books at all. But
and you were about to go to med school?
Yeah, just you know how much money they make.
Well, I actually
be for real.
Actually, they were picture books, so you would have been fine.
Exactly,
they are
bro.
picture books.
Come on, be for real. But no, we're reading this book called The Work of Heart, and it's specifically for people in leadership positions. But it's not even really about necessarily leadership. It's about working on your heart as you're in a leadership position to just make you a better person while you're there, right? So you don't, have that fall like some people have. But literally in the chapter that we just read this week, it's about community. And it was literally talking about one of the guys, like the quote was just like, yo, like he was talking to his pastor. And his pastor was like, no, like you can't be vulnerable because you're a leader. He's like, if you're a leader and you're vulnerable about X, Y, and Z, we're going to have to fire you, or this, that, and the other is going to happen to you. People are not going to look at you the same way. And that was like his dilemma. And a little bit what my pastor was telling me, he's like, yo, like that's not, that can't be it at all. Like it was just an example, but it was like, man, like if you're in a leadership position, like that should give you all the more reason to be vulnerable with the people that you're leading and you're shepherding. That's where relationship really, really starts. That's where the relationship really, really starts to happen, and that's where it deepens and everything like that. And that's when people are like actually become for you, right? Because it's not relatable to have somebody that's just perfect. It's like, man, I can't even relate to you. I make mistakes every single day. But the more relatable part, the person that you want to be in a friendship with, in a relationship with, or whatever it may be, it's like, is the person that is like, oh man, you sin just like me. Oh, that's a bet. Cool. I want to be around you more, right? Because you've learned all this stuff still in the midst of sinning and still in the midst of learning, So.